Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Trusting you had a wonderful weekend, and it is Monday as we kick it off on a positive note as always, trusting and believing that you have been just totally refreshed with whatever you had to deal with this weekend. I want to welcome you into this conversation today because we're talking about something I think needs to be talked about even more. I think, and you know my philosophy, the more you talk about something, that's the way you could come up with better ideas. And you're gonna see that it's gonna be 4 people that we're gonna talk about what they are writing about. And I think that it's so beautiful that they got these different points of views because all of us deal with things in a different way. Everybody deals with possibly the same thing, but we can deal with it in a different way. I want to welcome you into this conversation because it is absolutely needed. We're going to be talking about chemo after cancer. And Tara, I tell you, we met about a year ago. Yes. You were on my show too, about a year ago. And I mean, these 2 ladies back here in the background that you'll be able to see here in a moment, but they are going to be sharing their story as well. But first I want to say, we're talking about a book that's going to be released, and the fact of it is that you all got together and everybody has a part in this book. Yes. That's going to be so powerful, I believe, for people for where they are today with the things that they're dealing with. And thank you for emailing, because when I saw your email, I went, I was going to quick.
You're the first person I thought of.
I mean, thank you so much, because when I met you, it was in the mall. We were at a cancer event.
Yeah.
With Willow, I think he calls it
the pink party.
The pink party, yeah, because every single thing was pink. I had you on, you have a boutique.
Yes.
You see it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's all coming back, but the fact of it is all centered around something that's utterly important with our community and with you. Tell me what got you started on this, Tara, how you all decided to do the book.
Well, each of us here today are breast cancer survivors.
Right.
And the story is our stories, how chemotherapy impacted our lives and how cancer impacted our lives and how there is life after chemotherapy.
Right.
And how beautiful it can be. And so, like you said, each of us went through it and experienced different things, and so different outcomes, different perspectives, how we felt, how we learned from it, how we grew from it, all those different points of view. So breast cancer can impact your life, it can halt your life, but then once you regain the strength and you can empower yourself to bring back to life after chemotherapy and what that looks like.
Absolutely. And now I could see with the joy that's on your face about sharing your story. Emily?
Yes, I completely agree with Tara. I feel like this book has such a great perspective from the 4 of us. Mm-hmm. So a lot of survivors or even co-survivors, people who are caretakers of a survivor or someone going through cancer or trying to navigate life after cancer can relate to this book. And for me, I really think it's a love story to myself and to God, and about just being a survivor and being able to overcome, utilizing also our sisterhood. And through this difficult time, you find all of these sources of great light through God, and so I think that it's a love story in a lot of ways.
I love that when you say it's a love story.
Yeah.
And I mean, something just went through me when you said that, you know, with the sisterhood that you all are building and sharing. Let's talk about this. When you first, what was the moment when you realized, although I've been through this, I'm a survivor, that I am a survivor? Talk about that.
It was a process for me. Coming out of my personal story, it was not a positive experience at all.
Can we talk about that?
We can.
Okay.
From the very moment I was diagnosed, I had to really fight for my diagnosis. My radiologist told me I was okay when I knew in my heart that I was not okay. I did have a pre-cancer scare 6 years previously. And so I had gone to the same facility, and she called me to let me know the calcifications were back, and then I had a second spot to look at. So I went in and I asked to speak to the radiologist that day before I left, and he came in and he was very abrupt and abrasive, and it was it was a difficult moment, and I felt internally a response to his being present in the room. And then I stopped in that moment and I prayed, and I was like, God, like, what am I feeling right now? If there's something there, make him see it. And ultimately, he did make him see it, and that's in the book. But the storyline began like that, and every step of the way was just like that. I was diagnosed in 2020, so it was through COVID.
Oh my God.
It was very, very isolating.
It was already isolated enough.
And not any education classes, no preparation. It just felt like I was hitting a wall everywhere I turned. And so I came out of my personal story angry. I was very mad. I thought, how could it be this broken of a system today, in today's world? And I thought, because I'm a dental hygienist and I care for my patients and I'm a licensed provider, I gave a certain amount of care to my patients and I expected to receive the same.
Exactly.
And I thought they would hold my hand and, like, you know, coddle me almost, to like, oh my gosh, you have cancer. But really it was just basic standard protocol, you know, just push you through the system. So I ended up switching facilities because of that, and I experienced the same thing at the next facility.
Oh my God. Do you think, I'm not cutting you off, but when you say that, but do you think, you said it was a man, right? Do you think that there was a hardness there? I don't know if hardness is the word, but because it was a man that it was delivered that way, okay, you have it, now let's do this.
Maybe, but I felt like it was just abrupt and abrasive, and I didn't feel seen or even appreciated. And I went into it trying to be positive. I'm a very positive person. I try to bring God's love wherever I go.
Exactly.
And I felt like pushback everywhere I went, like I was the problem. And so I really was like,
oh my goodness.
I really had about a year after my treatment where I had to do some wrestling with that. Like, why am I so angry? What am I feeling? And then when I began understanding the system and that it is just their job, and so I felt like I wanted to be more personal. And so then I started asking the question, like, what can I do about that? And so what can I do to help? What can I do to change? And that's when I started stepping into, you know, groups, you know, support systems,
I see that.
And filling that gap. But then that was when I saw how empowering it was, and how I was a survivor, and how I could take that negative and turn it to a positive. So
absolutely.
That was the moment for me that I went from patient to survivor.
Oh my goodness. Emily, with you, how can I say this? When you found out, and then did you have an experience similar to that? I keep hearing in my thought process, I don't know why I keep saying is it because it was a man? Is it, you know, because I feel like when something like that happens, number one, you got to go boom. Ooh, you always think, not me.
Right.
And then, it's me. And I think, like you said, I should say, oh, let me tell you this. I want to hold your hand. Let me tell you this. What we're going to do is like this. Do you think, did you experience something like that as well? Or
I did actually have to advocate for myself, and with our support groups that the four of us are in, we really talk a lot about that, especially to women who have been more newly diagnosed, about advocating for themselves. Because with my experience, I found the lump on my own when I went to get an ultrasound and a mammogram, if I can say that word. I was told that it was a cyst, an infected cyst, that was not cancer, sent me on my merry way. And as you mentioned, a lot of us, it can't happen to me.
Right.
So it actually did not go away and deflate the way they said it would. It doubled in size, and by the time I came back, about 6 or 7 months later, they finally did the biopsy, and that's when they said, it is actually cancer.
Okay, when they just said, but told me it was not, I mean.
Yes, I was told it was benign, even got a letter in the mail. And so I think, especially with being younger or considered younger, a lot of time you get told, you're too young for cancer. And so, you know, as Tara was mentioning, these doctors, they see so many people so often, and so sometimes you don't feel seen, and sometimes that's when you need to be able to speak up and say, I know my body, something doesn't feel right. You know, get that second opinion, push for the biopsies and the scans that you need to get the answers that you need. And for me, I still feel like I'm developing as a survivor, even long after a lot of people think, when you're done with chemo. And I was diagnosed in 2021 around COVID also.
Right after?
Yes, and I still, to this day, there's a lot of things that change with your body and just your perspective on life. And so even after I got my diagnosis of or my scan results saying that there was no evidence of cancer, it took me probably a year to even feel like I was becoming some of the woman that I recognized before, that same woman. Your identity shifts. So even now I still feel like now I'm finally really developing into that survivor mentality.
And that was in 2021 when you found out.
That was in 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's different for everyone, I know.
Of course.
So.
I mean, but that is so powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are not within a group, a support group,
Yes.
and I'm finding, because I think that's what we need. I always say we got somebody we can talk to, that we can pour it out, that feels what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? We may not feel it to the same depth, but it's on the same path, should I say. That would be great. And when you're saying life after chemo, and I've seen what chemo does. I've seen how people handle that. You know what I'm saying? The part that they have to go through to deal with the sickness that comes with it. How is that? How you deal with that? And then you're fighting, whereas a person saying, okay, you got this. Okay, we're gonna do this. And there's no love there. There's no joy there. There's no peace there. And then there's an ultimate question. Is this question in your mind process? Because when you hear cancer, you think, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, I see your eyes. I see her. I see the eye. I'm looking in. The eyes are the window to the soul. And when I said that, it was just something about your eyes. It just did something. And when you deal with that, I can't imagine, because I know I've had people with cancer in my family, right? And I've seen, but it was a different type. But cancer is cancer.
Right. Yeah.
And the fact that what you all are doing, I think that's so great that you've come together to put this in writing to help somebody else, because once you go through the chemo, that's a battle within itself.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, the sickness, the hair loss?
I always say that it feels like chemotherapy comes after what makes us feminine and women.
Oh God, yeah, I get that, yeah.
So it makes you really wrestle with your identity as your true self. That beauty comes from the inside, not outward appearance. And there's so many things, but chemotherapy is the long lingering effects of chemotherapy as well. People don't really talk about that. And so there is lots of side effects that would arise during my treatments that I would bring to the attention of my doctor, and I was told it couldn't be from my chemo because my dose was too low.
But you know what you're feeling.
And I'm like, well, I've never had this before, and now I am. So it was just wrestling with knowing your body and listening and advocating for yourself and making sure you are getting that attention that you need for the symptoms you are having. And then after you're through with treatment, you're picking up the pieces and your body is forever changed. Like your body, for me personally, I still suffer with flare-ups and inflammation and just random things like dry eyes.
Inflammation,
like inflammation through your body. So like I personally have developed chronic dry eye. That I didn't even know could be a thing, but for my type of cancer, it was hormone positive, and so they attack our hormones, our ovaries, and so I've since had a full hysterectomy, and so I'm dealing with the menopause symptoms on top of the chemotherapy symptoms. God, so then it's just like, well, is it menopause or is it chemotherapy or is it both? I don't know. So I just feel like there's just not enough education out there on what to experience or what your body could experience going through this, but just picking up those pieces. But for me, when I heard chemo, I thought, okay, this is real, and I mentally jumped off that cliff of like, what if I die from this?
That's the part I'm saying. I think that's so.
And it was tough for me because everyone in my family who I had lost, even animals, had all died of cancer. And so when I hear that I have cancer, immediately my mind went to the darkest place. And so when I got my full diagnosis and what I was going to have to do, I was like, oh, this is survivable. I can beat this. And I had to figuratively climb back up that cliff mentally, because I had jumped way deep.
You
went all the way down.
Right, okay.
But just mentally, don't do that. Like, try to stay positive because you don't know your diagnosis, and it is very survivable. And there are multiple people who are still surviving and thriving with stage 4. And medicines today have changed. One of the ladies here today will tell her story, Tina. is a stage 4.
Oh,
and
really?
so there's
Come on,
just
Jesus.
so much beauty in mindset through this. Like your mindset makes everything different. So if you go into it, I'm a survivor from day 1, then you won't have to do like I did, have to climb back up that mental cliff.
So the state of mind plays a big factor in your process.
Yes.
But my question, I guess, is, and I'm like with me, I would say, oh my God, when you hear that word has so much, and knowledge is power.
It is.
If you don't know, then you're going to go to the bottom and then realize that you can be at the top, and then that climb is more difficult than trying to stay at the top without falling to the bottom. Unbelievable. When you talk about that, Emily, and when you go through the process of chemo, and I see people, the sickness, the throwing up, I mean, the pain afterwards. Can you talk about that?
Yes, and I'll be honest, whenever I heard the word cancer, for me, my thoughts immediately went to all the movies that I've watched where the mother has passed away from cancer and she's just withering away, you know, it just ill, deathly ill, and I thought that was going to be probably my future. And so that's, you know, just terrifying to not know, and I think that's the scariest part, is not knowing what to expect, not knowing what's going to happen to you personally. And I remember going through the really toughest parts of the aggressive type of chemotherapy, and after losing all my hair, I actually gained weight because of the steroids that they give you to prevent some of the nausea and the side effects. And I remember looking at myself and just seeing this old Asian man, basically. I was bald, I was pale, I was swollen, after I had my bilateral mastectomy as well, I mean, I didn't recognize myself. And to go from just a couple months ago feeling confident and feeling feminine, and now you have no energy, you can't eat anything, your mouth is dry, you can't sleep, you're worried about, we're all caretakers, so we're worried about how our families and how work is going to cope with our absence because we can't perform, because we're fighting for our lives. And I always say to women, that's something that we kind of have to disconnect from when you're going through chemo, is to realize that the world is going to move on without you. Who cares if there's dishes in the sink? Who cares if the laundry piles up?
Exactly.
Start delegating, you know, start getting some help, asking for help when you can, and lean on your friends. We're so used to being the strong ones that a lot of times we don't know how to accept help, and when you are ill and you're going through chemo, sometimes you don't have the option but to accept it. So there were days where for me personally, I would sit and I was so tired and exhausted and drained that I could not stay awake for more than an hour at a time because my body was just fighting the chemo. That part of the chemo was really difficult. So it is a complete contrast. And then when you come out of it, anytime you're going through such a difficult time, of course you think this is it. This is how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life. But once you come out of it, you appreciate your energy. Like, oh my God, I can walk outside. I can go, you know, get groceries. It's just such a difference from how you were feeling during chemo that you feel renewed, basically.
Is it how the family, how do they cope? Is it, okay, let's say if there's a lack of knowledge, right? Are they supportive that, oh baby, oh, you know what I'm saying? But are they, come on, we can do this. Or I'm gonna be there with you. Or I don't see a factor of give up on my loved ones' faces that's going to affect me, because you know there's got to be a process that they're dealing with as well. How did you have that, and how do you deal with that? I'm going through this. My family, I see on their faces, and I'm here. I've fallen already off the cliff. I'm down here. I'm just using that. I look in the mirror. I see a little Asian man. I mean, but I'm saying, because there's got to be. How is it that the family is coping, and then during this process, I have no energy. I can't do this. To make sure they're educated, so that they can be that factor that's going to help me as well. Think about that. I think that's powerful for some people that in the family, how it affects how we need that support system like your girl group. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a very serious conversation. You don't have to wait till October to talk about it. Cancer happens every day. So we want to keep you filled with knowledge so that you'll be that factor that could help somebody else. And the way that they're sharing their stories is absolutely amazing. We got more to share with you. 850-432-7768 if you would like to be a part of the conversation, or you can text that number as well right here on Sunshine's Corner. Girls. That's amazing.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday as we talk about life after chemo. Survivors, strong women. Strong women sharing their stories, and they are putting it on paper, writing a book that's going to come out in July that you'll be able to take part in so that you can share right here. Ladies and gentlemen, when we have people here standing strong enough to share their story, if there are things that you would like to share that can inspire somebody else, don't do this with it. Let it fly. You don't know what one word you can do to help somebody else. Now, I was asking a question about your loved ones and how it affects them in ways that when they find out that, okay, now I see my loved one got to go through this. And you said you had a story you want to share, and then we're going to come back to Tara because she got a story she wants to share about that.
So I'm a certified or a trained bra fitter and wig fitter, and I own a boutique called the Booby Boutique for breast cancer patients. That's part of my journey was I was inspired to help other women going through this process, and I had a lot of clients, or quite a few clients, unfortunately, that were going through divorces during their chemo or even right afterwards. And so these relationships were just strained, and they were struggling with not only coping with the recovery and treatment and everything else, but also marriages, loss of relationships, and also facing friendships that were dissolving because a lot of people don't know, I guess, how to support someone going through what they're going through. And it's just astonishing to see the strength of these women who the cancer was really just the tip of the iceberg, like actually not getting support from their spouses. And
okay, now when you say that, now that's got to be totally difficult. Here's my husband. I'm going through this at this point, but then we're going to get a divorce? Oh my God. That's got to be detrimental to deal with at times like that. Because men, don't do that. Be that support system. They need you. They need you. And I'll know that there are some cases because there's one man I always think about. Richard Roundtree was the first man that I had ever heard of. Richard Roundtree played in the movie Shaft, and he had breast cancer. Okay, he was a survivor, And he lived to be, he just died a couple years ago, not from cancer, totally something else. He was like almost 90. He lived, if you understand what I'm saying. But I say that to say, to find out that you are dealing with a situation like that and then you lose that person that you love, that person that stood before God and said, through sickness and in health, until death do us part. But they can't deal with the most trying time in my life. That's going to be so much more pressure on you or me. My God. So what would you say? How do we get people to understand that I need you now more than I ever? Don't walk away from me at this point. How do you share that? And I'm going through these trying times. I see it in your eyes. You just can't change a person for what they think, right? Or how they can deal with it. You said something about your daughter.
Yeah, so I have I have a podcast as well called Power Over Pink. And I interview breast cancer survivors to tell their stories. I believe that's empowering for us, empowering for them to feel heard, and it helps other people kind of share. But what I'm hearing on repeat is the mothers who have young children and they didn't think to put them in counseling, or they didn't think how they were handling it was, for instance, my own personal story was, I have 2 children. My son had a best friend who his mother had gone through cancer already and she came out okay. So he's now told me that he was like, well, she had it worse than you, Mom, so I knew you were gonna be okay. And that's how he processed it. My husband, he jumped in and was a big support for me, but we had a pre-scare 6 years prior where he wasn't that great then, so we had to process then like how we're going to handle this. And then his mom unfortunately had gotten cancer and passed away in the interim before I got it. So there's people process things so differently, but my daughter in particular, she was in 8th grade and she was my strong, independent female. She still is to this day. I mean, she is a powerhouse and she put on the bravest face for me and she would do whatever I needed. And I'm very I want to communicate how I'm doing and what the doctor said. I didn't hide anything. I didn't want to sugarcoat anything. Like, this is how we're going to face this as a family. And she would do whatever and tell whatever and say whatever, but on the inside, I was her person. And she thought I was dying because, again, we had lost so many family members to cancer, so she heard death. She didn't hear Mom's a survivor, and so she unfortunately turned to substance abuse at that time to numb the hurt and the fear. And I didn't know. I was too busy in my own battle, and somehow I missed it. And so when I came out of cancer, it was brought to light, and thank God it was, because then I was able to confront her, and that was like honest, like, yeah, this is what I've been dealing with. So then we went into counseling and we went into all the things. So if I could do anything differently, I think I would have put them in counseling even if they were okay. Because it gives them an outlet. Like, okay, I'm scared. I have no ability to process these emotions at such a young age. And so, and like Emily mentioned, like all the movies, if you think of all the movies, all the cartoons, all the moms get cancer and wither away and die. So every child has watched those movies too. So we don't think about that. Like, it's mentally, like, we're prepared for this because we've seen it so often, but that's not our story. Like, we're survivors, and so to combat that with our kids. So the best thing I could say is get your kids in counseling, keep that communication open, and ask them honestly, how are you doing? Are you feeling certain ways? Just because we weren't prepared for that. I never saw that coming. Thankfully, she's okay today. She just graduated high school. She's thriving and amazing, and she's going to be a world changer. But it really took my world by surprise.
I can imagine. But these are beautiful stories that we can share, because I'm sure that you've got stories as well. And it would be a great thing if we would just come on and let's start sharing our stories so that we can talk about things. I believe strongly whenever we talk about something, it makes it so much better. I believe that.
Me too.
And I just want to encourage you guys. I tell you, you're strong women. God's got you. Your faith, that plays a big part. Your faith, that faith, if the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that's not seen. Faith cometh by hearing, and by hearing the word of God, because I believe that with everything on the inside of me, I believe that. And I want to say to you, because I know, I think her name is Teresa, I want to talk to her because in our community, in the Black community, it is written that we die from it more. Because of the fact, and I want to, when we talk to her, I want to find out how she feels about that, because of the fact, Melissa, that's her name, Marisa? Marcella. Okay, he's saying something in my ear. Marisa. I
wasn't sure at first. I was like, who are we talking about?
I said that. I know I typed these names up right.
I was like, what are we talking about?
I said, but I didn't see that one. Don't make me laugh. But anyway, I want to talk to her and see. Man, you made me laugh, okay? But the fact of it is, with that, and in our community, this is ways, because that I think that we've got, sometimes we allow that voice that's in the head to control. And once it's, you know, that speaks volumes, and when you don't have that support system around you, that will cause you to go to that point where you went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about cancer. Don't have to wait till October to talk about it. Cancer happens every day. We need to find more knowledge. Knowledge is power. We've got to get rid of that fear. Fear is evidence appearing real. And that, I mean, we've got to make sure that false evidence appearing real, that we know the facts. And this is why we do this show. We talk about things that are difficult, but we have an easy way of talking about it right here on Sonshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
Come see us at Royal Appliance Outlet. We have refrigerators, washers and dryers, stoves, beautiful furniture from all of your name brands that you know and trust. Samsung, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, and GE, all at discount prices. Come visit us today at 1612 Face Boulevard. You're gonna love our easy credit to help you bring all of your favorite furniture home. Come visit Royal Appliance Outlet.
It's baseball season. From heart-stopping plays to legendary victories, this is baseball at its finest. Grab your seat, bring your energy, and witness greatness live. Don't just watch it, feel it. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos are back, and you can watch Pensacola Blue Wahoos home games live on Fridays and Saturdays, only on Blab TV. Love the Blue Wahoos but can't watch? Get your tickets now.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority's state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
And welcome back to this Monday edition of Sunshine's Corner as we continue the conversation that we should talk more. As you see now, my set has changed and we've got others on the set with me today. Now, Morgan, we're going to talk about things that people need to talk about that we don't talk about, you know? And it is absolutely, and I'm going to go straight to you. Okay. Because you know what I want to talk about as far as in our community. When you read and you study and it says that we are more likely, even though it is less, but we are more likely to be the one that's fatal. What do you say about that? Why do we have that? Why does that happen?
I think, and this is me personally,
okay.
I feel like we're categorized as the ones who may die more to breast cancer because of our overall health and the things that we eat and what African American, like when people say African American, they put us with, we love fried chicken. Right, they stigmatize us with, we love fried chicken, we like the sweet stuff, you know, like the unhealthy stuff. So I feel like, honestly, I feel like that's why I feel like that's why they feel that we would die.
Right. It's stigma, and you know, we got to overcome that stigma because that's man-made.
Right.
That is truly man-made. And with that, I think that with the knowledge that we're receiving on a daily basis is a way that we can get rid of that so that we can really focus on our health. You know what I'm saying? And with that, because you know, you read a lot that we are in the African American community that we are more prone to, even though we are the lesser one who get it.
Wow.
When you read that.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And with what you all are doing, I think that is absolutely fantastic how you all are coming together to put all of this on paper to share and to support others who are just finding out to begin with this. I want to hear your story because you said, no, I'm not coming up here now.
I'm a little different. I'm a stage 4 person. So
really?
I have stage 4 breast cancer.
Now?
Stage 4 never goes away until I'm in the grave. So yeah, I'm stage 4. I've been stage 4 since.
Oh really?
I've been stage 4 since 2020. So my original diagnosis goes way back to 2008, which I was stage 2 back then.
Okay, now you're opening my eyes because I thought, see, I didn't know, knowledge is power, that stage 4, that means that's it.
Obviously not.
Hello, I see that big old, no, I'm saying that because
I get that.
You get that, and I mean it's like this, and I mean just like the thing that we hear about the stigma that they have about black people. Yes. And come on, let's get the real knowledge. Yeah. Let's learn how to fight this. Let's learn how to fight this with the fight of faith, so that we can overcome and get this negativity out of people's head. I agree. You know what I'm saying? With your fight. No, I'm coming back to you, but now he got your mic hooked up.
Was I not on?
I mean, you were low.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but you're stage 4.
Yes.
And you said you were stage 2 in 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So now with you being stage 4, tell me about your process. I mean, that you walk in every day.
It's medication daily. Some sort of treatment. I am currently not taking chemo. I've had chemo during my stage 4 process. But currently, with all of the new medications and the new research that wasn't today in 2025, wasn't even there in 2020. There's new drugs. 8 months ago, I was told I was on my last treatment. And if it failed, there was nothing else. And then now there is.
8 months ago?
8 months ago. There's a new medication that was in FDA. It hadn't been fully FDA approved, and now it is. And so here I am. I'm on a different medication. And so, yeah.
Daily?
Daily.
How do you feel?
I have my days, but it's up and down. But for the most part, this is actually one of the easiest medications that I've been on.
So when you say easy, does not make you sick, no side effects?
I wish no side effects.
I mean, when I say side effects, I mean like I'm not going to get sick this moment I take it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, it has a lot of side effects. It has daily, for me, everyone's different. I have daily nausea. I can't tolerate the summer heat at all. I'm a hermit in the summer. I can't. Ever since my breast cancer, even before breast cancer, but I was heat intolerant, but all these drugs and medications have just done a number on my body where I can't go enjoy the beach. I can't. Really? I can't go out in our hot summer. I can't function in it. My body doesn't cool itself off. Like last Friday, I went and did 2 errands. I wasn't even out in the heat, out in the heat. I was in the car, in the store, in the car, in the store. And on my 3rd errand, I ended up in ER needing fluids. I got dehydrated like that.
That's quick. So when you say a hermit, you really are inside.
I go in the store and out of the store, and now it's like, now I'm back to, if I have to go do a lot of running around, my husband drives so that he can go back out to the car, cool off the truck so I can come in, and then he'll pull up to the store so I can just come out.
To keep you totally out of the heat. Well, how does the
and then I
wintertime
have neck
affect you?
fans and all kinds of stuff that I have
How
to
does the
do.
winter affect you?
I'm great in the winter. I love the winter.
Oh, so you can go,
I can go in the winter. I love the cold. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't affect, I get cold easy in the cold. Like in the cold, my body still can't regulate. It's hard, but I can throw a couple jackets on.
You're fine.
Here in Florida, people look at me like, where are you from? You're not from here, right? Because you're still in shorts and you're still in shorts and flip-flops, and I'm in a parka, you know?
When you say that, when you were talking about the heat, and that's why I went to the cold. I lost a sister to lupus. She was cold,
all the time.
All the time, and she had to wear gloves on her hands because it was just that cold. And
I'm not that bad.
Okay, but she was, she fought it. She fought it. She fought for a long time. But when you say that, I could remember her. It's 90 degrees on the outside. She was a school teacher, and she was there, man. She went to school no matter what, until she just couldn't go. And she had those gloves on when she was, come on to my house, I need you to help me grade papers. You understand what I'm saying? But there was a flashback that just took me back to see that, and I commend you with the strength. I commend you. With you, how do you deal? How does the family work with you?
Well, right now I'm in remission. I'm going on my 3rd year, but during the process, my family, it was new to them. They didn't know how to deal with it. They were new to the diagnosis just like myself. And honestly, during it, I lost friendships just because they didn't know how to take the sick Marcella. They were so used to the outgoing Marcella, the one that always does this and does that. So I think that it's a learning process for everyone. The ones that stick it out with you to the end, great. The ones that don't, it's a lesson in all things. And I think it's an area for everyone learning, okay, at the end of the day, cancer doesn't just affect the person who's being diagnosed. It affects literally everyone that they're attached to. I had friends after who never reached out to me, heard about it, and I've seen them afterwards. And I was like, hey, why didn't you reach out? And they was like, I didn't know what to say. It's like, how do you ask someone, are they okay, when you're not okay? And it was a kind of an eye-opener for me. And then I realized, I'm like, people who are going with a diagnosis of cancer, they don't even need your, hey, how are you? They just need you to be there. Sometimes your presence is enough. Your presence is enough sometimes.
Exactly. That's a powerful note right there. And with the fact that you say you're in remission and been in remission for a couple of years,
yes,
and that's a blessing within itself. But when you were going through your chemo, and when I hear what they're saying, what a time that is, did you have that connect with somebody that was there with you at all times, or?
So I was blessed during my treatment. When I was firstly diagnosed, it was just me and my daughter. She didn't know anything about it. I kept it from her. She was 8 years old. I kept it to her until the point where she seen me coming home every day sick, and she was like, Mom, why?
You had not told her yet?
No, I didn't, because I didn't know how to tell her. And it wasn't until I started my first treatment when she was like, Mom, why every time you go to the doctor, they make you sick and not better? And then I knew I had to have the conversation immediately. I was blessed. I did have my Aunt Veronica, who I'm talking about when I say she was there every doctor's appointment, she literally changed her life to help me through that. Also Giddy. And then during the process, I had one of my best friends from South Carolina to actually quit her job, and she came down to stay with me during the time of treatment.
I'm stammering. That's strong. That's powerful.
Yes.
That's a friend.
That's a friend.
Yes.
Because that's a friend.
Yeah.
Because some people think a friend is, hey, what's up? That's it. No, I mean, to leave your life.
Yes.
To regain your life somewhere else to help a friend.
Yes.
And do you find when you say that, I keep hearing this, do you sometimes get better support from friends on the outside than family?
I think I can answer that transparently and say sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes.
Oh, wow. It's just so much, it's so many things that I can just hear. And I see the passion in all of your faces of what you're talking about to where you are. What would you, when your body started to change, you're in remission now, and when your body started to change after chemo, how did you learn to adapt to the changes? Like with you, how did you adapt to, I can't even go in the grocery store anymore in the summertime. I've got to wait, my husband got to do this, and to get me to that point. How did that affect you and your lifestyle?
For me, it's a 180. I grieved my old life. There's no other way for me to say it.
Right.
Now, cancer took a lot, but cancer gave me a lot too. But I've had to grieve my old life. Like, I've had to quit working because my days I'm great, like you see me here, I'm fine, but I'm unreliable. Tomorrow I could not be able to get out of bed till 11 o'clock because I'm fatigued, I'm tired. So I've had to, then I can't go. I used to be the Energizer Bunny. I can't just
do that anymore.
I just can't just go and go. Yeah. And so it's been a lot of life changes for me. But my husband has been great. I mean, we moved to Florida from out of state in 2017. So I started a new life, right? And then 3 years later, on top of COVID, cancer hit again. It wasn't in my retirement plan, it wasn't in my life plan. So it's a 360, 180, whatever you want to call it, as far as
total metamorphosis, right?
But I wake up every day, and I'm not in pain. And that's a blessing.
Absolutely.
My cancer, even though it's stage 4, I don't have a lot of pain from it. So I'm blessed in that. And so even though it's taken a lot, it's also given me a whole different perspective on life and my life. Like, I see things different.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having such a great conversation today. And we got to go to break, but when we come back, she said something that I just got to come back and ask this question. When she said, okay, when I found out, then I went back and I found out again. That's something I want to talk about when we come back right here. Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition.
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families, and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
My name's Kelly McLeod. I'm the owner of Bella Magazine. Bella is a source of uplifting and inspiring content for the women of Pensacola.
I think the magazine is just so thoughtfully done. There's a lot of attention to detail. The stories are really good.
You've got seriousness, you've got fun, education, fashion. It just encompasses everything.
Women are multidimensional, and so is Bella.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
Yes, no, please. Welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. We're talking about life after chemo. And we're talking about life experiences. And the question that popped in my mind when you said that when you went back to the doctor and then you were diagnosed again, how did you process that when you thought you had gotten to the point, okay, I'm in remission or I'm here, but then here it comes back, peeking its little head again? How did you deal with that? What was your process of feeling when you heard that again?
It was a very emotional day.
I can't imagine. I don't want to take you there.
No, it's okay. My first thought was, and this is going to seem really strange, but as I'm coming out, because during COVID, I went to the doctor, my husband was out in the parking lot because he wasn't allowed in.
Right.
So as I'm leaving my facility where I had just gotten diagnosed, I called my boss instead of my husband. So I called my boss and I was like, hey, I have stage 4. I need to go on FMLA leave. It was part denial. It was like, yeah, I heard it. I knew what it meant, but it was part of it, a denial of, okay, I beat it once, I'll beat it again, even though that, so, and my boss was like, Tina, what did you say? Mm-hmm. And then I'd start crying. And then I couldn't really talk, and I'm like, I'll call you later. And then I went out to my husband, and he saw that I was crying. He saw that I was on the phone, so at first he was like, oh, she's fine.
Right.
Right, okay, she's fine. And then he saw me crying, so then he started crying, because we all knew what, if I'm
of
crying.
Course. He knew something was
if I'm crying, something's hitting the fan. So, yeah.
Wow, I commend you. When you first got the word, and I want to go back to this, I'm not just capitalize on that beautiful pigmentation. What I'm talking about, the fact of it is, there's a stigma we talked about that's in the Black community. With a lot of things, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But to overcome that, and when you found out that you had cancer, those words, when you first heard it, where did you go?
I was numb, and this is the thing, before I heard the words, I knew I had it.
How did you know?
So,
was it a lump?
No, it wasn't. It was like a clear, tiny speck discharge. But this is the thing. Something like I believe in God. I have a relationship with my Father, and I believe having a relationship with your Father, He'll never let nothing sneak up on you.
Didn't He tell you
He'll
that?
never let nothing sneak up on you. Oh yeah. So you have a prayer life. You know God. He gonna talk to you in ways than just words. So literally I felt stuff was going on wrong with my body, and in my head I was like, cancer. And then it seemed like cancer just kept sticking out to me. Different people having it, or TV shows. It was like it would just highlight itself. So when I got the mammogram and stuff, the doctor, he was like, we're gonna call you back 3 days with the report, and we're gonna give it to you over the phone. Well, they called me back in 3 days, but they didn't give me the report.
They said come back in.
And I knew then. So literally that day, I was literally at work, and they knew I was waiting on the phone call. I stayed in my car. I had to be walked out of work because I could barely walk. I had to sit in the car for like 2 hours with my aunt on the phone. I was hyperventilating. I was just, that day, so much was going, and they didn't even give me the word, Miss Powell, you have cancer. When I finally went to the doctor's office the next day, I was calm. I was just numb, and I was like, okay, what's the next steps? Like, okay, what's next? And he was like, we're going to refer you to the surgical office to speak with, you know, the doctor about the next steps, which was getting the MRI to see how far it had spread. Then deciding, okay, if you want a lumpectomy or a mastectomy, you know. So
explain the difference.
Okay, so a lumpectomy is when you can keep your natural breast, but they just go in and surgically remove the tumor and tissue around it. A mastectomy is actually where they remove both of the breasts.
Okay.
Yes, or one. Some people just get a mastectomy for one breast,
Right.
and the other, a double mastectomy is when they remove both breasts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I can't believe this. We've talked an hour already. I can go another 2 hours because I'm finding out so much. But I want to say this now. The book is called Life After Chemo.
Life After Chemotherapy.
Life After Chemotherapy.
Yes.
I mean, now this book is going to come out in July.
Yes, July.
But okay, now, but can people pre-order this book now?
Absolutely.
How can they?
On any of your bookstore websites.
Okay.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
Amazon,
Books A Million.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to say
it's shipping July 26th.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say to everybody who's viewing today, and for everybody who took the time this morning to come in, I mean, I'll say again, thank you for that email. Don't you ever forget that email. Anything that comes up, call me. But the fact of what you all are sharing is so powerful. And when you have that book released, make sure I know. Okay? Because I'm in your corner. Any way I can support to help. I believe in feeding our community with knowledge. I believe in educating our community on facts and not just what you heard somebody say.
Yeah.
I want you to know the facts. It has been a great day. I want to say to each and every one of you ladies, I mean, to God be all the glory. And as my mother would say, he's not done with you yet.
Yes.
You still got more work to do, so just hold on to your faith.
Yes.
Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your faith. Keep on walking. Stay out that heat. Wait till it get cold. Go in the store, okay? But the fact of it is, ladies and gentlemen, they have given you a great avenue, so you'll know how to lean if you're going through that. I've got to go, but I'm going to leave it as I do every single day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember to keep God first in whatever you do. Handle your situation like that, and I'll guarantee you this, you will be a total success. So until tomorrow at 9 o'clock, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.